Transform your self-talk, elevate your self-esteem, and unlock your confidence today.
So I can be more confident. Negative self-talk is the other way that I refer to it. It's that internal dialogue that is ingrained in our mind. It refers to the internal monologue or mental chatter that is characterized by self-criticism, self-doubt, and pessimism. It involves the repetitive and automatic patterns of thoughts that focus our perceived flaws, shortcomings, and failures, often leading to feelings of inadequacy, unworthiness, and then, of course, anxiety. Negative self-talk can have profound effects on confidence and self-esteem, impacting various aspects of our life. So I'm going to go over what those aspects, how it affects our aspects now, affects our life, the different aspects. So negative self-talk can lead to that lack of self-confidence in yourself. It can increase the feelings of doubt and uncertainty, making you question your decisions, your judgments, and capabilities. It gets in the way of you reaching your full potential. It can get in the way of your performance at work by increasing your anxiety and that fear of failure. Constant self-criticism and low self-esteem can impact your interpersonal relationships, leading to feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. If you continue to use negative self-talk, you increase the chances of increased anxiety, increasing your feelings of worthlessness and hopelessness. So, what are the common factors or forms of negative self-talk? Catastrophizing, which is magnifying negative events or potential outcomes. This is where we expect the worst case scenarios and we dwell on the consequences. Overgeneralization, which is drawing broad conclusions based on isolated incidences or experiences. This is where we assume that one failure or setback defines our overall worth. Personalization, which is taking responsibility for external events or outcomes that we potentially did not have any control over. Perfectionism, which is viewing situations as extremes, seeing outcomes as either perfect or a complete failure. Filtering, which is focusing on the negative aspects of a situation while discounting or ignoring any positive aspects. Mind reading, which is assuming negative judgments from others without evidence. Labeling, using harsh labels to describe yourself. Should statements. This is imposing unrealistic expectations or standards on ourselves, and we use phrases like I should or I must. And then we discount positives, which is minimizing or diminishing positive experiences or accomplishments. So where do all these negative self-talk come from? It's not like we wake up and all of a sudden have these negative self-talk statements that are kind of in our head, but they come from somewhere and they are ingrained in our brain. I like to refer to them as like a playlist. So playlists now we download and we, may have a playlist for working out, a playlist for cleaning the house, a playlist for driving to the car or driving in the car. You have certain playlists that you use, that is related to music or podcast that you like to listen to. Well, our negative self-talk are also a playlist. They are recorded. They have come from us, from our past experiences. They are past experiences of criticism, rejection, or failure. They are cultural norms or society expectations or media portrayals of perfectionism that we, kind of take on and create these unrealistic standards. Family dynamics or the way you were raised, including communication communication styles and role modeling shape our self-perception and our internal self-talk. Our striving for perfection and this fear of failure can fuel negative self-talk. Any kind of trauma or bullying or abuse can internalize messages that we keep in our head and increases our self-blame or shame topics. Constantly comparing ourselves, comparing yourself in regards to appearance, success, or achievements can create our negative self-talk. Black and white thinking, chronic stress can heighten our negative self-talk. And of course, if we have negative self-esteem already, that increases our negative self-talk, but negative self-talk can increase, the low self-esteem. Lack of self-compassion and self-acceptance can contribute to harsh self-judgments and criticism. So again, I refer to these as recordings. I kind of see it as like an old day, I'm going to date myself here a little bit, but, I would, sit in front of my, radio and where they would play music. And if I wanted to create my own playlist, I would have to hit record. And if something happened during that, I'd have to maybe do another recording. Well, that's kind of what has happened through our lives. We have, pushed record and created this playlist. And this playlist has probably become unhelpful for us. And so we have to learn ways to challenge it or change this playlist. And so we need to learn the triggers that have created or why we use this, playlist so often. So we have to identify our triggers and then learn ways to challenge it so that we can change this playlist. And then we have a more helpful playlist to use during times of high stress or high, when we're faced with uncertainty and we increase our worries, we then have a different playlist. So what are some strategies to challenge this? Well, first you have to pay attention to your internal dialogue and identify the negative thoughts as they arise. Catch yourself as you say statements like, I'm such an idiot for writing that email, or, oh my God, I cannot believe I missed my alarm clock and now my whole day is going to be ruined because I'm running late. Challenge the validity of negative thoughts by asking yourself evidence kind of questions. Ask yourself, can I prove that what I'm saying about myself is true? Does that statement protect me? Does it get me what I want? And by thinking this way, does it avoid unwanted conflicts with others? And does this help me feel the way I want to feel? So ask yourself those 5 questions. And if you answer 3 out of the 5 with a yes, then the belief is true. And you don't necessarily maybe need to change it. But if you answer less than 3, then you need to change it because it is not true. And sometimes we believe our thoughts so much. Our brain is so powerful that our thoughts become so ingrained that we believe that what it is saying is true. Because why wouldn't we believe our brain? Our brain keeps everything alive for us. So why wouldn't we believe what it is saying? But sometimes those statements are definitely not true. Replace the negative thoughts with more realistic interpretations. So instead of saying, I'll never be good enough, you can say, I'm not perfect, but I am capable and I deserve success. Counteract negative self-talk with positive affirmations that affirm your worth and capabilities to repeat affirmations such as, I'm worthy, I deserve acceptance, or I have the strength to overcome challenges. So counteract your negative self-statements with positive ones and, repeat these affirmations. Put them in places that you look every day for, something like put them near your coffee pot, put them near your medicine. And repeat these positive statements, because the more we say something, the more we believe it. Practice mindfulness. We've talked about mindfulness before, but this allows you to observe your thoughts in the current moment and not without judgment. Return your focus to the present moment so you can engage in breathing exercises or body scans or mindfulness meditations to help you get yourself in the moment. And that way you can focus on what is truly happening versus all the thoughts that you might be having in your head. Evaluate the accuracy of the negative statement by considering alternative reasons for the possibility of this negative statement. So consider whether there are other reasons for the perceived failure or circumstances beyond your control. Shift your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. Look at challenges as ways to grow. So instead of dwelling on setbacks, reframe them as learning experiences or opportunities for personal development. Treat yourself with compassion as you would treat a friend. Tell your friend, what would you tell your friend to do in this situation? Tell yourself to do the same thing. Engage in activities that boost your mood and self-esteem. We've talked about, self-care plans, so engage in activities that kind of make you feel more joy. Reach out for support. So if you want to change the way you say things, then look at this as a sign to contact me and I will guide you. Our 12-week coaching program provides you all the tools that you'll need, including, changing that negative self-talk. So now that we've discussed ways to challenge our negative self-talk, we're going to take a look at how we can practice self-compassion to improve our confidence. So again, offer yourself the same kindness as you would a friend. So instead of criticizing yourself for making a mistake, say it's okay to make mistakes. Everyone does. I'm doing the best I can. So talk to yourself like you would a friend. Recognize that suffering and imperfections are universal, that everybody is human and we all experience challenges in life, and then they're not, that you're not alone. You're not the only one, having mistakes or things that go wrong. Validate your own feelings. And that's the other nice thing about our coaching program is that our group coaching, when we do group coaching calls, you are working with other like-minded women. Currently, we've got a small group going on, and it's great. We all recognize that we are all in this together. We all have had challenges, and we support each other and give each other advice, along with, the techniques that I've been teaching you. We are able to review those. So that allows you to understand that you are not alone. So also validate your own feelings and experiences. Understand that you need to acknowledge your feelings. Allow yourself to sit with them. Again, we go into details on how to sit with your feelings in the coaching program. I recognize that learning to sit with your feelings is very important. That is the one thing that I did more of after my husband passed. I allowed myself to recognize what was I feeling so that I can look at what were the thoughts that was producing that feeling. And once we're able to do that, you become more emotionally resilient because you're able to then identify like, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, and that is what the thought is. And then our behavior is triggered by that. So our negative self-talk is a behavior. It is something that we do. And so we will, if you are perceiving an event stressful and your feelings are, you're feeling more anxious, that's when you would, possibly look at negative self-talk. So looking at situations differently can really give you a change in your feelings, and then also what you say to yourself and other ways that you react. So learning to sit with your feelings is very important, and I do a lot of work on that in the coaching program. Prioritize self-care activities that promote overall well-being. Remind yourself to find joy in activities. And again, you would create a personalized self-care plan during the coaching program. I will give you a template to do that, and then we can also do a one-on-one coaching call to discuss and role play how to implement that in your life. Recognize and celebrate your strengths. Identify all wins you make, no matter how big or small. Establish healthy boundaries. This includes politely declining requests of invitations that overwhelm you. This is something that I had to practice a lot of. I had to practice saying or letting myself know that it's okay to say no. It's okay to be like, no, I just have too many things on my plate right now. Because taking on too many things definitely increased my stress. Practice forgiveness towards yourself for past mistakes and shortcomings. Letting go of self-blame and guilt. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and express gratitude. Keep a journal. I start every morning with 3 things I'm grateful for, and at the end of the day, 3 things that I've accomplished. And again, I recognize the big wins and the little wins. So consistency is the key. So practicing, challenging our negative self-talk, and then incorporating the self-compassionate techniques into your daily life will be the key to help you see the difference with your confidence